Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking out time to attend the session today. We still have a couple of people joining in, we see. So, we would just start in 2 minutes. Thank you for your patience.
Hi, good morning, all. Welcome to the episode 4 of Work from Home webinar series with BIM360. I'm Prabhu. I'm the technical specialist here at Autodesk, and I'll be taking you through the next 40 minutes through the webinar. And as you read through these safe harbor statement from Autodesk, would also like all of you to answer some poll questions so that we can know how we want to take this forward. So, Avnish, if you can bring up the poll questions.
Yes, Dr.
So the first question is around, did you attend the episode 1 to 3 of the BIM 360 webinar series that happened over the last few weeks? So I see most of them have attended all the previous webinars. So that's great. And if you could tell about your position or what role you closely aligned to. We have a good mix of all four. The managers, executives, engineers, craftsmen, everyone. As you are aware, BIM 360 has announced an extended access trial program that till the 30th of June 2020. So we just like to know how many of you are aware of that and are already using it in your company. Okay, and this is the last question. Since we're talking about resolving reconstruction issues, I'd like to understand how do you detect and resolve your clashes right now in your projects? Do you use Navisworks, BIM 360, or you send emails with snapshots from your 3D models, or you have regular meetings that are conducted to kind of assess the clashes? And all right, more Navisworks fan here. More than 50% use Navisworks, and and we have meetings as well. So, okay, so with those questions and answers, I'll keep those in mind as I take you through the rest of the time with our presentation here. And I'd like to ask you this question. Have you played Jenga? The game Jenga means to build. So if you have not, you can take a few seconds to browse through to see how the game works. The objective here is to plan your every move, to build stability into your tower. So I use the words plan, build. So does this all sound familiar to what we do in pre-construction? So please do drop your comments on how you think this is similar to what we are going to discuss today. Let's see if you can get it right. You can use the chat box below to drop in your comments on how do you think Jenga is related to the topic that we have today. Yeah. And but before that, here's what we will do for the next 45 minutes. I'll try to make it short to save you some time. So we'll be over the next 45 minutes, we'll be having a look at why do we need pre-construction, and then how to win in pre-construction. And finally, after discussing all those, I'll take you live into BIM 360 Coordinate for a hands-on session to understand how BIM 360 will help you resolve the clashes and make your pre-construction process easier. So why do we need pre-construction? Why is pre-construction so important to us? Studies report that in an average, businesses like you spend around 5% of the project cost, 5% of the project contract value for rework. And reports suggest that this could go up to a shocking 30% of the contract value in some cases where it is not reported. So imagine executing a 100 crore project and spending as high as 30 crores on just doing duplicate work. This is just about the cost. What about the time that we spend in rework? About 7% of the total work hours is spent in rework. To get things into perspective, let's take a simple example. A designer works 40 hours per week, and 7% of that is close to, say, 3 hours wasted in rework per week. Let's say if the designer gets paid 400 rupees per hour, it is 400 times 3, that is 1200 rupees per designer per week for rework. We can imagine the impact on the business if we scale that up to multiple people over multiple projects over the entire duration of the project. This is why we need pre-construction. We need pre-construction to evaluate our design intent, what we intend, what we design, and how it is going to be built. We'll have to evaluate the entire process and develop a predictable project plan right from the design phase to the construction and operation phase, and also to identify the best builders and vendors who will make that building for you, or who will construct it for you, or who will build it for you. And also we should have a plan so that we can push up-to-date information to the field so that they know what they're working with, and they're always sure that they're working with the latest set of data. How does this happen currently? And I asked you this question earlier through one of our polls: how do you resolve clashes, how do you do pre-construction? We have meetings to go talk, look at all the issues, solve them. Then we have more meetings, and then we have even more meetings. So how do we solve this? And you know, this entire webinar is about BIM 360, and I'm going to talk to you about how BIM 360 coordinate is going to help you solve these pre-construction issues so that you are aware of what is happening in your model. But before I get into that, let me tell you how to win in Jenga with 4 easy steps. So I think by this time you would have seen what Jenga is, or at least know how Jenga is played. So you can win Jenga with just 4 easy steps. The first step is to have access to the entire model. You see, Jenga, there are multiple wooden blocks that you have to pull or push from each other and place it on the top to build a stable tower. And the most important thing that you need to win in a game of Jenga is to have access to those individual pieces. And the second step is to have an aggregated or a federal view of the entire model. You see, there are 54 sticks in Jenga, and at a glance, you can see all the 54 sticks at once. Those are the individual components that make up the entire tower, and you have a complete view of the entire model. You have aggregated all those pieces, different pieces, into one to build your tower. And once you have the aggregated model, you prioritize. You choose which ones to pick initially, which ones are more critical, which ones will help you stabilize the tower, or which one will help you win in Jenga. And once you prioritize that, you pull the stick or push the stick and place it on top, try to resolve the stability issue of that tower. This sounds similar. This is exactly how we win in pre-construction as well. The first step to win in pre-construction is to have access to your 3D models. All your team members, everyone in your team should have access to 3D models online or offline, including all different formats of 3D models that you have, like a Revit file or a Navisworks file or IFC format. The first step is to have access irrespective of your location. The second step is to aggregate the models. You see, there are different teams working on a particular project, and to have a holistic view of the entire project, you need to have a federated model that brings all the components together, just like in a game of Jenga, to bring all your pieces together to give you a holistic view so that you can see what is happening in the project as a whole. And once you have the access and you have an aggregated model, what else do you have to do on that model? You have to have easy access and aggregate. You have to navigate across the model. You'll have to be able to pan the model, zoom it, orbit the models while using gravity assisted walkthrough navigations, review the models, annotate the models, send notifications, create markups and all that. And once we've done that, the next step is to prioritize. By prioritize, we mean that there might be number of clashes in your model, and not all of them are as critical as the rest of the clashes. So you have to prioritize. So you should have a visual aid to tell you what is the most critical clash, which two teams have the most critical clashes or the most number of clashes. Like it should be able to give you a visualization of how you want to attack those clashes. And once we have done that, we have to resolve those clashes. And how will we resolve those clashes? We create issues, we assign it to people, make people accountable for that particular issue, so that they know we have a track of what is happening in your project, and we also see who it has been assigned to, and make them accountable to resolve that particular clash. So with that in mind, I'm not going to spend much time on PPTs or presentations. I'll take you directly into BIM 360 to show you how this all works. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, I would like you to put those questions directly in the questions box, so that after the presentation, we'll see how we can answer the questions for you. Okay, so this is the BIM 360 project admin page. So I think most of you have attended the previous episode, so you know how to activate a service in BIM 360 and all the different services that are available in BIM 360. Today we're going to concentrate on something called BIM 360 Coordinate, and for that we'll move into the project admin page of BIM 360. And under services, you see there is a service called Model Coordination, Clash Resolution, and Model Aggregation. So in order to help us activate, clash detection automatically in BIM 360, we'll have to activate this particular service. So I'll just click on Activate. So this is the first step that you have to do when you're running clashes directly on BIM 360. Now you see that the model coordination service is active, and I can make sure that it is active by clicking on this buttons here and see that I have model coordination active here. But before we go into the actual model coordination window, there are a few other steps that we have to do. That is to, so for example, I'll go into the document management service here and to see where my models are located and which models I want to run an automatic clash detection. So I'll go to the document management module. And as you see from the previous episodes, you have seen about design collaboration within Vim 360, where you share different models among different teams and they all get collected in a shared folder. See, this is the shared folder that I have, and the three departments here: architecture, MEP, and structural. And under each folder, there's a model that has been shared by the team, a Revit model that has been shared by the architecture team. Similarly, we have an MEP model, equipment systems and mechanical model, and we also have a structural model. So let's say this is where I want all of these models to be federated, to be combined into one aggregated model and run an automatic clash detection. So how do I instruct Vim 360 to do that? So that is where the next step comes in, that is creating coordination spaces. So I'll go back to the project admin module, click on here, go to project admin. And when we go to project admin, we are going to create a coordination space and tell Vim 360 that take all the models from a particular space and run a clash detection. So for that, I'll just go on the left pane, you see the different services that are active. I'll go to model coordination. Yeah. So under under project admin and model coordination, if you click on services, you see coordination spaces here. I've already created a few coordination spaces here, but for this presentation, I'll create a new space. So just have to click on create, and you can give a name to your coordination space. This can be any name that you want. So let's say this as my coordination space. So this is my coordination space, and which folder do I want this space to be? So you can select between the plans folder as well as the project files folder. So since all our models are in the shared folder under project files, I'll go to project files and go to the shared folder, and if I drop it down, you see all the photos are active, but I want all the models to be part of my coordination space. So I'll just click on the shared folder so that I capture all of these three models and click on create. And with that, we have created a coordination space to run an automatic clash detection. So you see now this is the coordination space that I just created, my coordination space. The folder path is project files, and then into the shared folder. It was created today by me and it is active. So we have created the coordination space. So now let's move directly into the model coordination service. So if I click on project ribbon here and go to model coordination. So this is how we go into model coordination. And there are different pages that are available within the model coordination service. And the first thing that you want to do here is make sure that you are in the coordination space that you want to be. So I'll just move to the far right of the screen. You see the drop down button here. These are the different coordination spaces that are available in my current project. So what I'll do is I'll select the coordination space that I just created, my coordination space. I'll click on that to make sure that all the models that are in that particular space are open here. And you see it has already collected all the models, the architecture model, the MEP model, and the structural model from the folders. And you can also see who has uploaded the model. Since here all the models have been uploaded by me, you see my name here. But for example, you have different architecture teams, different MEP teams, and different structural teams. And the moment they upload the folder or share their design package in BIM 360 design or put their model in the shared folder, you will see who has updated the model, who has shared the model, all the names, and the date on which the model was updated as well. So this is about this window. And if you go to the far right again, you can see different views here. The first one is all models. The second one is my model. So if I click on this, only the models that were uploaded by me will be visible here. So since all the models here are uploaded by me, you can see everything here. And if you click on clashes with my models, you will see only your models which have clashes with other models. So these are the different views that you can use. So I'll just go back to the all model view so that I can see all the models that are available here. And what other filters can you do? You can filter it by contributor. So for example, if you click on contributor, if you have multiple contributors who have uploaded the model, and if you want to see just a model from one individual or one company, you can do that by clicking on this particular contributor page here. And also you can select the company. So if you are working with multiple companies and multiple companies are uploading models to your BIM 360 account, all the companies will be visible here, and you can filter this to see the models that have been uploaded by a certain company only. And similarly, you can also choose the date at which the model was uploaded. So this is the model window here. We have all the list here, but how do we see the models? So how do we federate the models? So there are different methods by which you can bring models together or combine models together. Let's say, for example, I want all of these models. Let's say I want equipment, systems, mechanical, and structure. I want a federated model of all of this. I just select whatever model I need and click on view. So it is going to federate all those models automatically and give me a holistic view of all the models. So you see here under models, we have all the different models that I just selected. If I want, I can also add or remove models to this view. And say, for example, I want to save this view, I can also do that, so that I don't want to create this every time. I don't want to come to model coordination, select the models every time to get the federated model. I can just click on save view, give a name. This is structure versus MEP. I can make this private or published. When I make it private, it will be visible only to me. Or if I want the entire team to see this particular view, I can make it published. So now I'll make it private and I'll say model crash check for versus MEP and click on save view. So I've saved a view here now. So I'll go back and tell you where the view is located. So you see the top three tabs here. The first one is the model window that we just saw about. The second tab is clashes, which I'll take you the next. We'll go there next. And if you go to views, you'll see all the views that are created. So if you have a private view, only you will be able to see that particular view. And if you have other views that are published, you will be able to see the other views as well. And even here, you can select which coordination space you want. In all these three tabs, you can select the coordination space that you want. So this is not like it has to be done between different teams, like between architecture and structural teams. There might be a situation where there are multiple people working on an architectural model, like architect 1, architect 2, and architect 3. You can create a space for yourself within your working folder so that all your architects can run a clash detection among their portion of work that they are doing and make sure that it is clash free and error free. So it doesn't mean that you'll have to create it between teams. You can create it among your teams as well, like between architects or between engineers, between structural engineers and all that. So this is about the different views that you can create. And if you go back to models, I'll just go back to this view here. So I've opened up all the models here and you see the tab, and this is the model viewer that is available in BIM 360, and you have all the properties available at the bottom. You can orbit it, you can pan around the model, you can make it fit to view, zoom window, and even you can go for a first person view by just getting a double click on the model, and you'll be able to walk through your model just as you do in a Navis work or any other 3D viewing software. So you'll be able to see your entire model from here. And then you also have the option to measure your model. So I can just, it automatically snaps to the edges, so I can see the height of the different elements here, the X, Y, Z dimensions and the total absolute length. I can also measure the angles and I can calibrate. So if I have a 2D drawing, if I want to calibrate this measurement, I can also do that. And you see, you have the model, we have the levels here, and we also have the sections analysis. So if I zoom out of this window, and if I want to do a sections analysis, I can do that. I can add an explain, and I can just cut the model into wherever view I want to see. So I can add different section planes that are available here, And I can also look at the different levels that are available in the model from Revit, and I also get a model browser. So this is exactly what you have when you do it in Revit, where you get all the different model elements that are there. You can switch them off, make them visible again, and all that. This is copied from your Revit model as you upload it from Revit to BIM 360. And similarly, we have the different properties to change the views of the model specific to BIM 360, where you can change the interface of BIM 360 here, and you can also move to full screen. So this is about the model window here. And if you see see your left side of your screen, you can see clashes. So if I click on clashes, see I have 4 different models here, and it is going to show me all the clashes between all of these models together. So if I am a structural engineer, I can just select structural so that I can see what is all clashing with the structural model. So I see all these slabs are having a clash. I can choose different departments as well to see the clashes that they have. And I can also change the clashes by object, property, object, system name, or type name. So if you click on object, you see there are 70 clashes based on object names. And if I click on system name, it gets the system name and tells me that DOAS first floor has 12 clashes with the other model. Similarly, the primary refrigerant HRU1, this is a system, it has 9 clashes with another model. And similarly, I can also go to type name, where it will give me the different clashes based on the type name. So for example, you see 24 inch by 24 inch base 8-inch neck is having one clash, and there's a clash with the lamp based on its type name. So if I go back to object, and I'll go back to system, I'll see what is this particular clash. If I drop down, I can see all the different clashes that are happening here. And if I click on this, I can see all the clashes that are here. I can zoom in, I can see all the different clashes. Similarly, if I have a different type, here also I can see the different clashes that are available. Go to three-way, see there's a wall that is clashing with the equipment. The AV unit, there's a clash with the another equipment here. So I can see all these clashes, and once we've identified these clashes, what can we do with these clashes? I'll tell you in just a minute, but before that, I'll close this and I'll show you about the other tab that we missed here, which is called clashes. So remember how I told you want to prioritize your clashes, or see where there are more critical clashes or more number of clashes to get a visual appeal of which model is clashing with what. If you click on this clashes, it is going to give you a heat map, a color coded heat map. It is like a heat matrix that's a matrix that is created between the different models. You see there are all the 5 models that are there in the coordinations piece on the left, and even in the columns you see the same 5 models, and you see what is the number of clash between the respective 2 models. So for example, the structural model and the architectural model have around 246 clashes. Similarly, the structural model and the equipment model have around 2 clashes, and it is all color coded. So you see bright orange here, which means there are a number of clashes, and then we have the light shade here, which means there are lower number of clashes. So if you have multiple models like 10 or 15 models, it gives you a visual heat map to kind of assess the number of clashes that are happening in the model. So what else can we do from here? So for example, let's say I have a structural model and I also have a mechanical model here. I see there are 3 clashes with the structural model and the mechanical model. I can just click on that, and it is going to open the similar window that we just saw earlier. So this is exactly the same window that we saw earlier, but this time it has just taking the clashes for the 2 models that I have selected. And I can see that there are 3 clashes. I can still change it to object or system name or type name. So if I click on this, I see there's a white flange clash. So if I click on this, I see there's a pipe that is clashing with my W section B. So what do I do from here? I found a clash. So how do I resolve this? Or how do I make sure that this gets resolved? So once I get a clash, I click on it. You see at the bottom, there are 2 options. One is not an issue. The second one is issue. Not an issue means that there might be some valid penetrations in your model that are allowed or that can be adjusted at site. So those are not really clashes, but that something has to be adjusted at site. So we can select those types of clashes and click on not an issue, so that this particular clash will be removed from the model coordination window. But if you think that this is not a valid penetration, this has to be resolved, this pipe has to be lowered, or this beam has to be changed, the elevation of the beam has to be changed, you have to create an issue. So how do we create an issue? Just click on issue and click. We'll have to create a pin in the BIM 360 window. So I'll just click at this particular location to create a pin here. And once I've created a pin, I can come to the left side. I can see that BIM 360 has already taken the object names directly from the models. It says W white flange, the object number is this, is clashing with the round duct, the number is this. So I don't have to manually search this and put this information here. This information will be automatically put up in the title. And similarly in description, it will also tell you the number of clashes between these two different objects. And what I can do is I can assign this to someone in my project. So for example, if I want, let's say I give my name here. If I want to assign this to someone, I can give their name here. I can choose from the list that is available here, and then also give them a date. So I want this looks like a critical issue and I want it to be resolved by tomorrow. So I can give them a date here, give them a due date, and click on create. So what this has done is, now that particular issue is removed from the clash dialog box. So let's see where it has gone. So you see on the bottom, you have another tab called issues. If I click on that, you will see all the active issues that were created from the clashes. So if I just click on this particular issue, it is going to take me to that beam and duct that we just saw, and it is going to give me all the details here. The type of clash, who is this assigned to, what's the due date of the clash, the link document, that is this particular model, who's the owner, and if you want to specify the root cause of this particular clash, you can say that as well. And if the moment you assign it to someone, that particular person or individual is going to get an email stating that an issue has been assigned to them, and they'll be brought back to this window where they can give a response and either answer this issue or update the model and close the issue, or if it is not a valid issue, they can make this as void. It cannot be made void by every individual. Only the project admin or the BIM manager will be able to close these issues. The person who you have assigned the issue will only be able to answer to this issue, and based on that answer and based on the update of the model, the BIM manager or the project admin can review the model once and close the issue. So what else can you do here? So if I close this again, and you see these are the active clashes that are available in the model right now. Similarly, we have assigned. So under assigned, you will still see all the clashes that were identified by us, and clicking on that will take you into the same window again with highlighting the clashes. So you can close that. And similarly, if you have issues that are closed, that will be available here. So for example, let's say I want to close this issue, and once I've updated the model updated the model in this BIM 360 environment as well, I can say that pipe move as a response, and once I review the model, I can say this is closed. So once the issue is closed, you can go back to closed and see this particular issue will be moved to the close tab once it is closed. And similarly, under document management, we have a tab called issues that collects the issues from the overall project, and the issues that you create in this model coordination service will also get updated in this issues tab. So if I go to document management and go to issues, I can see all the different issues that are available in the project, and you see there are some issues that are tagged as coordination issues. So these coordination and subtype clash, these are the issues that have been created by the model coordination service. So I can also filter out these particular issues here. So if I say I want to see all the coordination issues, or all the clashes that I have in the model, see that the clashes that we created using the model coordinate window will be available here, and you can see the status of those issues, whether it is overdue or who is it assigned to and all that. So this is about creating issues in model coordinate. And sometimes there is a case where, so let's say I'll go back to model coordination. Sometimes there's a case where you close an issue but find out that it has not been resolved or it needs more attention, where you want to bring that issue back or reactivate the issue. So you can do that as well. So if I go to assigned here and open this particular issue, so this is closed now. Yeah, and I can also download a PDF of the report of all the issues that I've created in the model, so that so you'll get a list of all the issues with the screenshots of all the screenshots like this, so that you can be aware of all the different issues in your model and whether they have been closed or not. You can close this. So this is about assigning issues and exporting an issue report, and the issue report can also be exported from the document management part. So you go to issues, click on issues, and you can export a PDF report or a CSV report based on the filters that you have created here. And we also saw that many people use Navisworks to run clash detection or all that. And BIM 360 is actually connected with Navisworks, and with the recent Navisworks 2021 version, the BIM 360 coordination is there in beta, which allows you to track all the issues that are happening in BIM 360 into Navisworks as well. So if you open Navisworks, so this is how you create an issue in BIM 360, which I showed you here. So similar to that, if you open Navisworks Manage 2021, we have a new tab called BIM 360 coordination. You can select the coordination space, select your particular project, and select the project that you want. And all the models that are there in the coordination space will be visible within the Navisworks window. And all the views that we have created will also be available within Navisworks. You can open them up within the Navisworks desktop tool. And once we've opened that, on the right, you can see that all the issues that we have created in BIM 360 will also be visible here. And you can, with the screenshots and all that, and you can either close those issues or create new issues directly within the Navisworks window. This is right now in beta, which is coming soon to Navisworks 2020. And you can save the model with all the issues directly on your desktop. So this is about resolving clashes with model coordination. Okay. And if you have any questions, I would request you all to put them down in the questions box, and I'll try to answer all of the questions. And as you put down, as I go through the questions and try to answer them, you can also see on the screen I've shared the different webinars that have been organized by Autodesk. It has been happening for the last few weeks, and there are more webinars that are coming up in the next few weeks as well. See the work from home webinar series. Right now we are on this episode 4, which is resolve reconstruction issues remotely. And after that, we have one more for BIM 360 build, and also other set of webinars that are happening on what's new with certain Autodesk products in building and infrastructure. I would request you all to please go to this website, auindia.in/webinars, and register yourself for all these upcoming webinars, so that we can be up to date in all the different happenings that are happening around in the Autodesk products. In the meantime, I'll just go through the questions and try to answer them as I go through the questions. I would kindly request you all to register for the other webinars as well. BIM 360. So there is a website called Learn BIM 360. If you can type it on Google, Learn BIM 360, and you will be taken to that website where there are a couple of multiple videos for beginners, right from the basics of BIM 360 up to the advanced methods. And there's also a website for different BIM 360 resources, which we'll share in an email with all the participants after this webinar, where you can see all the resources of what's new or the different features, short videos of all the different features that are available within BIM 360. So there's a question: is BIM 360 docs, is this part of BIM 360 docs? This model coordination is not part of BIM 360 docs. This particular module is called BIM 360 coordinate, which is a separate module. This is not that does not come as part of BIM 360 doc. And there's another question about the switch back to Revit allowed in this. Not yet. It is still not available. We can't take the clashes back to Revit. You can just identify the clashes and create issues. But since the issues have the object numbers and system numbers and the type numbers, you can use those numbers to kind of go back to Revit and find the object and update those models.
So while Prabhu's taking up the Q&A sessions, I will be pulling up two more poll questions. So we would please request you to participate and give your response. Thank you. Thanks, Prabhu.
Yeah. So the clashes, we don't have to run a clash report every time, since this clash detection is automatic. So whenever I create a coordination space, and anytime I upload a model into the coordination space, for example, in our example, we saw that all my models were in the shared folder. Every time I upload a model into the shared folder, the clash detection happens automatically. And when you open the model coordination window, you're going to see the real-time clashes based on the up-to-date models. You don't have to go and run any clash checks, or run anything. You just have to make sure that you have the updated model in the folder. And once it is there, the clash detection happens automatically, and the number of clashes will be updated automatically based on the latest model. The question is there an integration with Bentley software like StatPro or structural model? There are some third-party applications or some plugins which you can use to connect StatPro models, but you can upload StatPro models into BIM 360. But for model coordination, right now it supports Navisworks models, Revit models, and IFC models. So if there are no other questions, good to see that everyone is. So there's another question: when the issue which is raised from the engineer about any modification, only the person who overlooks the issue clears it, or does the others who work on it also respond on it like the same way? Okay, so when you're assigning an issue, you can assign it to a particular person, and you can also keep others in the loop, like keeping someone in CC in your emails, so that you can receive answers from multiple people. But uh, based on their permissions, they'll not be able to close the issue. They'll just be able to answer the issue, and you can send it out to multiple people in your team so that you get answers from your entire team rather than one individual. But it is up to the BIM manager or the project manager or whoever is the project admin to actually see that the answers are relevant and close the issue. So those are the questions that I had. I hope that all of you have registered for the webinars that I just showed up on the screen, so that you'll get a holistic view of how the entire BIM 360 platform can help you and your projects to work remotely or have a cloud collaboration with all your team members. Thank you everyone for your time, and thanks a lot for for patiently listening to this webinar. I hope to see you back in the next episodes that we have. Thank you so much.